for tuning in to today's video. If you are new here, I would like to welcome you for the very first time. If not, thanks for coming back. Today we are going to be working on a graduation t-shirt. So I'm opening up design space here. I have my graduation cap loaded, so I'm just going to insert that into design space so I can just go ahead and get started. Not much of an intro here, I'm just jumping right in. So I am sizing my cap. I just want it to be 2 to 3 inches wide. I don't want it to be big. The shirt is for a grandmother whose granddaughter is graduating high school, so she wanted a shirt that said proud grandmother. But I decided to throw in a little graduation cap and, have her granddaughter's name on the cap. For whatever reason, there was a little dot there, so I just hit the contour button and removed that, so that's not in the way. Something small and minor. It wouldn't have really caused any trouble, but just had to take that out the way. So I am going to get started with the words. Feel free to choose, whatever font you like. As I always say, I have purchased fonts, so you may not be able to get the font that I use because it's not a standard font. But I use designbundles.net. That's where I purchased my fonts at, so feel free to go over there and check them out. No, this is not a sponsored video. They do not sponsor me, but I like them, so feel free to go ahead and check them out. So I wanted like a bolder type font. So originally I went with this Franklin Gothic, but I couldn't make it bold, so I decided to try and find another font. But again, choose what font you like, choose what works for you. Sizing is very important. So you want to make sure your words or your image, whatever, is going to fit properly on the shirt or space that you're using. So this is going to go on a women's extra large, but it's like a women's cut shirt. It's really not a big shirt. It's not like huge. So I want the word grandmother, of course, to be a little bit wider, a little bit longer than the word proud. So I am going to make grandmother to be about 10 inches, and that'll sit nicely in the center of the shirt. But if you're doing a bigger size, I recommend making your words bigger because, but then again, that may not be what you like. So definitely play around with the size and feel free to use a tape measure, a fabric tape measure, or you can even literally use a ruler if you have to measure your space so that you're getting what you have in mind. So I do want the name on the hat, so I'm just going to try to play with it to get it to sit just right. It is a little bit tricky because of the shape of the hat. I don't know how to explain it. It has that almost like 3D effect, so it's not just a regular plain. So I really had to resize it like a million times to get it right. But as with anything you're trying to do, especially for the first time. Keep going until you can't go anymore. Like, if you play with it long enough, eventually you'll figure it out. Now, I just changed this to white so that you could see it better. My original intention was to, slice this, but you'll see in a few minutes that did not work out. So it took me a little while, but eventually I figured something else out. So this was a little bit tricky, so I actually ended up changing the font to Cricket Sans. It just helped it to fit a little bit better into the space. That font just wasn't working so well, and I felt like the more basic font just worked out better. Again, I had to resize it some just to get it to sit there just right. Also, I wanted to add 2021, and so yeah, that was also tricky, trying to get that like leveled, because of the way that the cap is made. I don't know how to describe it. It's not a square. It's not exactly a typical diamond. It has that 3D effect, so it looks a little, weird a little bit. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but continue to play with it until you get it just the way you want it. So once I got it the way I want it, pretty much, I was planning to slice the Serenity 2021 into the cap so that it would cut that way. And let me tell you, I still don't understand why it won't slice. Like, I could have sworn that I've done that before, but I don't know. It wouldn't work for me. But you will see me trying to figure it out, but it didn't work. So we will skip all of that, and I'm going to show you what I ended up doing. It's actually really simple. All I did was select the entire thing and click attach. Now it looks like the words disappeared. No, it's all attached as one image, so when it goes to cut, it's going to cut Serenity 2021 right into the cap. That's it. So simple. You can't see it, but it's there, I promise. So everything is done cutting. So I have the referral, the grandmother, and as you can see, the words did cut out on here. So I'm just trying to arrange it here on the shirt the way that I want it. And I just want to make sure that everything is straight, centered, even. Maybe you don't want it centered. That's completely up to you. But just make sure you have it right before you press it on. Because once it's on there, it's on there. My mom is not forgiving, so just be sure about that. Double check, triple check, whatever you have to do, make sure you have it straight. Tell me, There's no going back. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So, measure just to be on the safer side. So I need to give it a few more seconds. Careful not to burn yourself.
Give us a subscribe, hit that button.